Hello, this is the first in a series of videos that I'll be doing on specialist vehicles. This car is a Mazda MX5. I was invited by the specialist tuning house to come over and review the car. I've known Yoshimichi Shimato for 30 years now. Yoshimichi as an old friend of mine, and back in the day, we'd be messing around with cars. He would be tuning engines and gearboxes and race cars and everything else. I had an Austin 1800 which I hand painted, so trying to pimp it up. I also put some velour on the dashboard, which wasn't the greatest idea because it bubbled up in the sun and stuff, but it was the first attempt at customizing cars back in the day. So Yoshimichi invited me over. He said, look, I've created this car, 2000 brake horsepower. He managed to do that before the Veyron. The only problem was that he couldn't get the car to work because he didn't have a gearbox for it. So he waited probably 30 years for a gearbox to be able to take the torque and the power of the engine. And it just so happened that a friend of mine was working, he was actually working in McDonald's at the time, very great engineer. His name was Miti Shinati. Miti, he had, not meaty as in McDonald's meat, no. Miti, he was an engineer himself. So I've known him 30 years as well, but we didn't put two and two together. We didn't realize that Yoshi did the engines and Miti did the gearboxes, that we could actually get the two together. It just didn't click. I don't know why. So Yoshi stripped down an MX5. He took everything apart, and then he created a tubular frame in the same way as in Miura, and then put everything back together again and waited 30 years for a gearbox to turn up. Now, these gearboxes that Miti makes are so specialist that he makes one a year. So you talk about Mark McCann having problems with his gearbox and the nightmare he's having. Miti makes one a year. They're more specialist than Veyron. Now, when I met him 30 years ago, working in Mackie D's, he was probably about 60 then. So he's 90 now. So it probably accounts for why he does one a year, because I think he's got a bad back and he can't really walk now. So maybe that's got something to do with it. But anyway, the specialist gearbox, put them together. The gearbox is in the boot. It takes up the whole boot. So there's no luggage space in this car. The engine was developed using a new method, which I shouldn't really tell you how Yoshi does it, but he's old as well. He's not going to know. He doesn't watch YouTube. What he did was he took a 4-cylinder engine, which this was. He then filled it in with aluminium, or a specialist aluminium. It wasn't quite aluminium, it was a specialist aluminium. And then he bored out 6 pots. So he made a 4-cylinder into a 6-cylinder, which gave it 50% more power. Now, Miti and Yoshi got together. The engine still wasn't quite done because they needed some turbos. And the turbocharger was made by a guy called Tsushimi Sushami. He was a chef, and but he was specialist in making turbos. So the three of them got together, produced the car, invited me over 30 years later. Unfortunately, Miti died before we could make this video. So we're going to his funeral next week now. Which is a bit of a shame, but yeah, he had his day though. I mean, he had a good innings, 90s, good innings. So we've only got one gearbox. There will never be any more made. just the one gearbox. So we've got to be careful with it. We can't go racing it around just in case something goes wrong. And obviously we can't get hold of the guy now. He's dead. So we can't get it fixed. So we have to be pretty careful. But there's 6 turbos in this car, and I'll show you later. I'll show you around the car. The 6 turbos. So it's quite a feat of engineering to get this car together. 0 to 60 in 1.6 seconds, which hopefully we're going to test later. 1.6 seconds. Probably faster than anything on the road at the moment. But you wouldn't know it. Now, unfortunately, the weight of the gearbox is such that it's quite rear biased. The car itself weighs 3 tons. I don't know what that is in pounds for Americans, but it's 3 tons. Check it out, 3 metric tons. If anyone knows, put it in the comments below. Just joking. Don't put it in the comments below. Don't do that. So the car is 3 tons. Probably 90% of the weight is at the back because the gearbox is actually cast iron. Back 30 years ago, he didn't have titanium or anything. He was working in McDonald's, so couldn't afford titanium. So he made it out of cast iron, which is why it's so heavy. So there's a bit of a downside on the car. But having said that, even with a cast iron gearbox, we're still achieving 0 to 60 in 1.6 seconds, which we'll test later along this little runway over here. We've got a runway at the moment in Japan near Narita Airport. So not the airport runway. That would be stupid. That would be illegal. We couldn't do that. So we found another runway to do the testing. So let me show you around the car. Then we'll jump in if the mechanics turn up, because we've got to get the mechanics here to warm all the fluids up. We can't just take the car out. It needs to be fully warmed up, and all the fluids need to be checked, and to be at the right temperature, the right viscosity and everything else before you can actually move this car. You can't move it. Oh, hang on a second, we're moving backwards. What are we moving? Did you feel that? It's just that you can't. The brakes, I forgot to mention the brakes actually. The brakes are made out of a metal called Meridian. It's a compound that was found on the moon from the first moon landing, Neil Armstrong, when he was up there. One small step for man, yeah. And so they brought the dust back. They found out what the dust was. It actually is a rock that is only found in Japan. They manufacture the discs, Meridian, and the metal is called Meridian after the guy. His name is Tishimi Meridian. He's Anglo-Japanese French. And Tishimi, he makes these discs that are probably 50% stronger than steel, 100% stronger than ceramics. The only problem is with these brakes is that the discs are made out of the same material as the pads. And when they get hot, you cannot leave the car with the brakes on. You mustn't touch the brakes. If you touch the brakes, they'll fuse together. So you do not want to be parking this car on a hill. Forget about it. You don't want to be doing that. You'll be down the hill before you know it. So you just got to be careful. A few little quirky things. But yeah, this is before the Veyron. Been very hush-hush. Only come to light a few weeks ago. And yeah, I mean, what we might do is we might be driving it to meet his funeral. If they let us get it started. So let me show you around the car. So, interior of the car, they kept the same steering boss, etc. I mean, the materials are, plasticky, not good to touch. I like the way they kept the dials for the, temperature of the car. We've got a touch screen here. Not much of a touch screen, but it's still very functional. we've got a sticker here. It's a warning sticker. You're not allowed to take passengers in this car because of insurance purposes, and that's what that sticker actually says. It says, if I translate that for you, it means no passengers in the car for insurance purposes. We can show you the gearbox if they let us open up the gearbox later. Unfortunately, there's nowhere to put your bottles, so Matt Watson will be disappointed that we can't put bottles anywhere, but pretty much kept it the same interior, all very, very nice, but a little bit plasticky though, a little bit plasticky. Do the outside of the car, looks like a stock MX5. You wouldn't believe it's 2000 brake horsepower. The wheels, specialist wheels again, Meridian wheels, and you can see the brake discs there. They just look like normal brake discs. That's how good they are. They will stop on a sixpence. Come round here, premium, they say premium fuel only. And in the boot, oh, what's going on over there? Someone's got a noisy car. In the boot, we've got the gearbox. Now, they're not going to let me open that boot up, but we'll see later. I might be able to convince them. But yeah, so it's a pretty standard MX5, but with an engine to die for. Let me open the bonnet and show you the engine. Okay, they're not going to let me show you the engine. Not going to be able to see the engine, unfortunately. But let's see. Look, there's no one around. Let's see if we can take it for a spin. They won't know. They've gone to lunch. Let's see. Let's go. Come on, let's go.
They threatened to sue me, so I had to bring the car back.
Okay, that's it for now. Funeral next week. Comments down below. Like and subscribe. But if anyone does know of a decent florist where I can get some flowers, please drop me a link. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.